In July of 2024, we took Ben on his first international trip, as well as our first trip to our northern neighbor, Canada. Join us on a 2-week road trip through Ontario and Quebec. We ended up flying non-stop from Phoenix to Toronto with Air Canada Rouge. Not the most spacious or luxurious flight we've ever taken, but it got the job done. Although we landed in Toronto, our road trip would start out in Niagara Falls, returning to Toronto, then Ottawa, Montreal, and finally Quebec City.
After a long travel day, we had a slow start the next morning at the Niagara Falls Park. We purchased the Niagara Falls Pass online before our trip, which was very helpful. Pro tip, if you prepay for parking online, be sure to ask for a paper pass from the check-in desk at the power station and place it on your dashboard so you don't get a ticket. Just another word of caution, starting as early as possible here will give you the best chance to enjoy the sights with fewer people during the crowded summer months. We had only one day planned for all the sites, and unfortunately were not able to experience the Whirlpool Aero car due to extensive wait times. Thankfully, there are other great spots to check out in the Niagara Parks, and our first order of business was nearly 200 feet below ground in the decommissioned power station and tunnel walk. The tunnel is about 2,200 feet long, just shy of half a mile, and includes 4 layers of brick on top of 18 inches of concrete. The power station features a lot of historical points of interest that you can learn about with a self-guided audio tour. At last, there was light at the end of the tunnel. The sheer power of water is only done justice in person. After enjoying the falls from the main outdoor viewing deck, we headed to the Journey Behind the Falls exhibit, which allows you to get even closer to the falls without actually voyaging on the Maid of the Mist boat ride. Thankfully, they provided the ponchos. And circling back to arriving early at the park, we did not expect the 45-minute wait in a stuffy underground queue without our stroller. So ask a staff member about the wait time before hopping in that unassuming line.
We enjoyed the nature and wonder of Niagara Falls, but we had 3 fun-filled days planned for Toronto. We got to our Airbnb pretty late in the evening, but still managed to make it to a Blue Jays game.
We woke up to a gorgeous Saturday morning and decided to head over to the Toronto Islands for a few hours. The most common way to get across the harbor to the islands is via the city ferries. While it is cheaper, the ferry only leaves about every 45 minutes, and on a busy Saturday morning, we were told it was a 2-hour wait to even board. This made our decision to take the water taxi pretty easy. Although more expensive, they leave every 5 minutes or so, and the onboarding and offboarding process is way easier with only a few people on any given taxi ride, and we didn't have to break down our stroller. Note that there are several water taxi companies, but they all charge the same rate. Center Island is a lovely green space with a monster view of the urban skyline. It's a popular spot for its sandy beaches overlooking Lake Ontario, Centerville Park, which features some cute rides for the littles, a petting zoo, beautiful gardens, and miles of bike paths for a rented bike or quadricycle. Many people pack a cooler and find a nice shady spot for a barbecue. The restaurant options are limited to just a few quick service places, so bringing your own feast may be the way to go. Once we headed back on the water taxi, we took advantage of the lovely day by walking around the downtown area and even stumbled upon a lively Pan-American festival in full swing. Mark has been waiting patiently for this day for a very long time.
Who wouldn't be excited for the Hockey Hall of Fame? The price for admission was pretty modest and well worth it for the several hours you could spend looking at all of the exhibits and taking part in the interactive fun provided. I'm no TV anchor or hockey player, but I took my best shot at some TSN play-by-play announcing as well as some wrist shots. If you're planning a visit, note that finding the entrance can be a little confusing. You enter what appears to be a shopping mall called Brookfield Place. You can enter at either Bay Street or Yonge Street. Just keep a lookout for the signage and you'll need to take this escalator down to the lower level. We couldn't find an elevator for our stroller for the life of us.
We decided to check out CN Tower. We opted for an upgraded ticket package to maximize our time and experience, but more on that in a second. The total cost ended up being about $66 per adult, but we thought it was well worth it. This ticket package got us access to the main observation deck as well as the smaller observation deck known as the top. The main observation deck is here, and the top deck is here. It's about a 1-minute elevator ride to the 114-story main observation deck, which is about 1,150 feet. The top is an additional 33 stories, almost 1,500 feet off the ground. The top, as we found out, is pretty small and very stuffy on a warm day. Fun facts. The building can sway up to 1.5 meters, which this pendulum will demonstrate on a windy day. Thankfully, it was calm when we were there. The tower sustains about 75 lightning strikes every year. Also, on a clear day, you can see as far as 100 miles from the top, which includes views of Niagara Falls. So more on our upgraded ticket package. It included a priority pass, which allowed us to go directly to the front of the line. We felt it was worth it on a busy Saturday afternoon that had a 1 to 2 hour wait upon our arrival. By the time we left, you can see that this line was backed all the way down the sidewalk and it was easily a 3-hour wait or longer. As you exit through the obligatory gift shop, you'll also find a food court and an indoor kids play place, which was a great bonus during the summer heat.
Coming up in part 2, we make our way eastward to Ottawa, Montreal, and Quebec City.